UFC 306 is going to be live in the Sphere September 14, 2024. It's going to be main eventing with Sean O'Malley defending his bantamweight title against Merab, really. And for being honest, this is going to be an easy knockout win for O'Malley. I'm not really trying to overthink it, but the reality is there's no way for Merab to be able to close the distance without O'Malley being able to catch him at least once or twice on the chin. And unlike Henry Cejudo or Marlon Moraes, when they were able to catch Merab, they weren't able to follow up successfully to finish the fight. I believe O'Malley is smart enough and has the sniping abilities to just finish him one and done. And if he needs to follow up with one or two more shots, he'll make it clean, he'll make it quick, and there it is, and still. Alright guys, and now we got the other fight, the other title fight of the night, which is the women's flyweight 125 belt. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. If we're being honest, it should be a pretty quick, easy night for Alexa Grasso. I think Valentina, while she is motivated, you got to understand that being in your mid-30s in MMA, whether you're a man or a woman, your physical abilities are not going to be able to keep up with the younger generation, the hungry generation, the up-and-coming generation. Alexa Grasso is on the forefront of that. And I feel like, yeah, she was losing the first fight, but she was able to make something happen and win the fight. And in the second fight, in my opinion, she had the better moments. She was getting caught a couple times, but I think she was, in a sense, I wouldn't say starstruck, but it looked like a moment where she was kind of being, what's that term? Snake charmed in a sense. But she couldn't believe she was really fighting Valentina Shevchenko for the world title, even though it was the rematch, and she actually won the last fight prior. So, in my opinion, I feel like she's gonna be able to shake that little mental cobwebs off, and she's gonna be able to stand on her shots. And when she does, she was able to rock Shevchenko pretty bad. I feel like Valentina, she's getting up there in age. She might not be able to get hit in the chin the same time. She might not be able to take a punch to the face, punch to the chin, you know. So give me Alexa Grasso to defend the belt, to close out the trilogy, and still, and will be. Well, up until we'll see what happens. We got Aaron Blanchfield, we got Manon Ferro, and a bunch of other women. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah. All respect to Valentina, but I think her time's coming up, And shout out to her. She had a great career, but, it is what it is. Now, as far as the rest of the main card and the rest of the full card is concerned, it's not as bad as the reaction and response has been from most people. I think it's a mix of the fact that Dana White can't help but talk out of his ass to hype some shit up. But the fact is also we kind of put a lot of big expectations on ourselves in terms of what we thought was going to be the type of card we were seeing on some type of monumental event in a monumental venue, once in a lifetime, etc., etc. We put a lot of expectations. And I think Dana also shot himself in the fucking foot saying he was going to do it on Mexican independence and do it Mexican themed. If he didn't do that, I guarantee this entire card would look different. But he fucking said it, and for some reason, a guy that can always go back on his word for so many other things, for some reason, he's committing himself and his company to this whole fucking Mexican independence themed night and shit. And trust me, I am Mexican. I am telling you, it's kind of dumb that he forced himself into a position where he had to make it Mexican themed. You could have done so many other things with the Sphere, with so many other fights, so many other quote-unquote themes or ideas you could have done. And granted, it's a cool idea, and Mexico has an amazing fighting culture that's not just MMA, but boxing as well. But at the end of the day, you kind of just shot yourself in the foot there, buddy. So, it is what it is. But in terms of the card itself, it's not that bad. You guys are just kind of being a spoiled bitches at the moment. And let's be honest, I kind of said this during the time, like leading up to UFC 300, 98, 99, and 300, where those cards were incredibly stacked. And I was like, look, the outcome or the aftermath of these type of cards is the fact that we're going to get a bunch of shitty fight nights and a bunch of low tier quality fights for a couple months, because all these big name fights and high-level fighters are fighting. And within these first 3 months, the first 3 months of the quarter, we're probably not going to see them till the end of the fourth quarter of the year, which kind of makes sense. We're getting Volkanovski. No, sorry. We're getting Topuria and Holloway. They both fought in the beginning of the year. Now they're fighting at the end of the year. So that makes sense. And that kind of was the sort of aftermath of what happened with the UFC 300 phenomenon of, hyping that up and putting big names on that card. Now we're getting a bunch of the big name fighters coming out again for the end of the year, which is cool with me. So I say that to say, in terms of names on this card, could have been bigger, could have been better. I don't understand why we didn't get Yair Rodriguez on this card, because it's like, dude, you're Mexican and you're like the biggest fucking Mexican fighter and star in the whole company, right next to Brandon Moreno, and you're on a bigger weight class, so you're kind of more popular by just that. So it's like, I don't know, it was weird. It would have been exciting to see what other kind of fights it would have been in the sphere if we didn't have fucking Mexican theme. And again, I'm not hating, because I'm excited to see Lazy Boy. A lot of people are hating on Ronaldo Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of Lazy Boy. I'm happy he got a moment to be able to have a moment for an opportunity to give himself the platform to showcase himself to the world. I hope he takes advantage of it. Daniel Zellhuber, he's cool, I'm not that excited about him, but he's cool. I'm not hating. The Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez fight, that fight's going to be sick. I don't know who's going to win that fight, because now they're both on full camp. Brian Ortega more specifically is on full camp. Taking it on week notice. He probably shit his bricks fighting a guy like Diego Lopez on a week notice without a real training camp. With a full training camp, I got to believe Brian Ortega is confident enough in his abilities to go out there and stand and bang. And, hopefully his chin holds up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I believe he could pull it off. I just think that would be kind of cool and be kind of fucking hilarious if fucking T-City manages to pull that shit off. That'd be fucking hilarious, But shout out to Diego Lopez. I wouldn't be mad if he won to, because that's just a cool fight. Good fights are like when you don't care who wins, as long as like it's a good fight. That's really all. That's what I'm getting off of this one fight. So all in all, UFC 306 is not a terrible card. We're just kind of spoiled because of the first quarter of the year. But trust me, I well, at least don't trust me, but at least the way I'm thinking about it, it's gonna sort of even out within the next few months, especially now that we're winding down to the end of the year. 2025, I don't know if there's any big monumental cards or kind of events that it's gonna be unbelievably stacked. You know what I'm saying? There's no UFC 300 next year, so I don't see how it's gonna fuck up the rest of the year in terms of like matchmaking in that sense. So yeah, I feel like UFC 306. And also, I do want to say O'Malley mentioned something about 306 not being promoted enough in terms of the main event, O'Malley versus Merab, and that there's more emphasis on the venue, the Sphere event, with the Riyadh season, Noche UFC, etc. And for that, all I got to say is, O'Malley, you are the world champion. If you wanted to promote this fight, you could do so much more. You could do a lot more than just doing a fucking podcast with your coach that you do every week. That's kind of pretty boring. I'm not that interested in sitting there watching you talk for like an hour and a half or whatever the fuck. You could have done a lot more. Your skits, in my opinion, are not that funny. So again, you could do a lot more than what you're already doing right now, because clearly what you're doing right now is not selling tickets. And again, that's not just on you. The prices for this event were fucking insane. But again, it's because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, once-in-a-lifetime venue. You would think even the main event would know, hey, I got to do a little extra. I got to add a little spice to the hype, to leading up, so we can sell these tickets and get people excited for this once-in-a-lifetime event. But that's all I got to say pretty much about the terms of promotion. I would say whoever was the main event, not if it wasn't O'Malley or Merab, if it was any other main event, whether Topuria, Holloway, or whoever, I truly believe the main event would still be coming behind the hype of hosting an event at the Sphere. I think the Sphere itself is the main event, even though everyone doesn't really give a shit. I think behind the scenes production wise, what Dana White's been hyping this shit up as is the fact that it's the Sphere and what it's going to do and how it's going to come off in terms of a spectacle. I think that's why they're hyping it up more than the main event itself. Otherwise, it would be just a regular UFC 306 main event. And then at that point, it's really on O'Malley to sell those tickets at a regular venue. And I don't know if he will sell those tickets like he would in UFC 299, where, let's be honest, it was in Florida, and we had a big Florida name in Dustin Poirier in the co-main event for 5 rounds. He had the biggest pop of the night that night. So I can't even say that UFC 299 was success based off of O'Malley's superstardom. So, you know, so for O'Malley to be like talking all that shit, saying that he doesn't like the promotion or whatever leading up to his events, my response to that is, how about you do a little extra more on yourself, buddy? Because you're not really selling too many fights. Outside of the MMA sphere, outside of the MMA bubble, not too many people know who Sean O'Malley is. But a lot of people know who the fuck Alex Pereira is. A lot of people know who Conor McGregor is. So that's all I got to say about that. UFC 306, I like my predictions, like I said. O'Malley by knockout, Grasso by defense. I'll pick Brian Ortega. I wouldn't say submission, maybe a decision if he doesn't get knocked out. And then give me Daniel Zellhuber and Lazy Boy. And that's the main event picks for me. Maybe I'll do a full card closer to the event. But at the moment, I'm chilling right now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, like, subscribe. I'll make some more videos.